previous administration took out of that.
Yeah.
Might reimburse for that.
So it's gonna cost $51,000 to privatize the stretch road?
Right. Well, that's just paying back the money they took to the slab.
Without the repairs, we don't need the money. If we don't have to do the repair, we don't need the money.
Right.
So we just
So we're
simply,
giving them that $51,000.
yeah, because the work will not be done. Yeah, it's not costing.
How high is that? How bad does he
It's
want
just,
this?
It's probably gonna save us about $100,000.
I was just concerned about, if we own the real estate or the.
No, we don't.
Well, that's fine. That's my kind of thing. That's what I did really last time.
This meeting will come to order. Justice Carol, will you say the prayer?
I'm sorry. Yes, I didn't realize it's so late. Please join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for allowing us to come together tonight to do the business of Boone County. We ask that you shower us with the blessings of your wisdom so that we can be guided to do what's right for the citizens of this county. Please give a special look over the men and women who are serving on our behalf and who are in harm's way. We thank you again for allowing us to live in this wonderful country, the United States of America. We pray to you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. We have a moment of silence for our veterans. Justice Navy, would you give the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do I have a motion to approve the October 12, 2015 minutes and November 9, 2015 agenda?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed by the same sign. Motion approved. Roll call. I'm sorry about that.
Kara Staten,
Here.
Frank Hampson,
Here.
Dan Roberts,
Present.
Brian Snavely,
Here.
Kathy Valentine,
Present.
Sam Kinsley,
Here.
Robert Meek,
Here.
James Hart,
Here.
Ralph Flynn,
Present.
James Widener,
here.
David Thompson.
Here.
You said you didn't want to talk tonight, so I wouldn't want you to talk.
Thank you.
Sorry about this. Announcements and presentations. I'd like to acknowledge and show appreciation to the letters that we received from from the Boone County Senior Activity and Wellness Center, thanking us for the grants that they're going to receive this year, I guess. But I would like to thank them for recognizing us, giving them the grants, and thanking us for them.
I got one thing under that, maybe possibly.
Yes, sir.
These little red flowers that you got, I just wanted to make mention that those are the buddy poppies from the Veterans and Foreign Wars, established in 1922. And what they do is disabled American veterans make these, put these together, and it helps them out. So, and anymore, you can just Google it like I did. But I'd heard the story always. But anyway, just as part of Veterans Day and remembering our veterans and the freedom that we enjoy.
Thank you, one and all.
Okay. New business. Treasury report. I'm sorry. Tom has to judge you too. Yeah, that's right.
You in a hurry tonight, Judge?
I did.
All right. Beginning balance as of October the 1st, 2015 for County General was $1,567,325.55. Revenues for the month were $791,384.61. Disbursements for the month were $542,114.71. resulting in a balance on October 31st, 2015 for County General of $1,816,595.45. Beginning balance as of October 1st, 2015 for county roads was $729,206.19. Revenues for the month were $202,155.19. Disbursements for the month were $130,903.35, resulting in a balance on October 31st, 2015 of $800,458.03. The 1/4 cent sales tax revenues for October were $118,491.08. 1% county sales tax revenues for October were $269,778.09. General revenue turnback for October was $14,751.12. Highway revenue turnback for October was $93,170.04. And the 1/2% state highway tax for October was $44,905.81.
Okay. Is there any committee reports?
Yeah, we got a committee report from the Budget and Finance Committee. You have a copy of general minutes in your packet. A couple of things that might not have been mentioned in the minutes were the extra additional JPs that were present all day with us, other than just the committee members. I think we had 8 with us all day, which is good for the information getting out and everything. And I might say that next Thursday evening at 6 o'clock, we'll be having another Budget and Finance Committee. I haven't actually called one, kind of decided that might be a good time to go over some of the things. Since the meeting, I've gotten the kind of the numbers on what the insurance is going to go up this year and a few other things that we didn't know at the last committee meeting and everything. But would also like to mention that we got through, I can't remember exactly what the number is. It 72 or 75 budgets, Lucretia? I can't remember, 70-something budgets.
Yeah.
Well, we got through them all. We reviewed them all in this one day, which I think I feel like this is working out pretty good for us to get a big slug of information and then kind of chew on it for a little while. But anyway, just would like to appreciate folks coming out to the meeting, and I don't know whether I'm going out on a limb here or whatever, but I would kind of like to express my sadness, I guess, if you will, of the change on our Budget and Finance Committee. Sam kind of decided to resign because of other responsibilities, and Robert Meek was appointed to the Budget and Finance Committee and would like to welcome his financial expertise to the crew.
Yeah, right.
Wink, wink.
Yeah. Was this next, you say next Thursday?
This coming Thursday.
This coming-
Day after 2 days from now.
At 6 p.m.
Oh, and we have the packets that's in front of you, Sam and James, and I believe Kara got one. Those were the packets that the budget assistant had made up for us on the budget. That contains all the proposals and the budgets from each of one of the departments and everything. So y'all can.
As we go through these, are these what is going to be within the final version of the budget, or is that still up to date?
A lot of the requests were written into those. Most of them were. So you can see the difference in this year and next year, or if there is a line item that wasn't there before, consider that an increase. And I do also have just a tentative total on the outside of the request. We had a total of 190,000 new money requests in the all-day process. That's including everything. That's including library and a few things like that, 911, that don't come out of the general fund. But that was the total new money request that we had.
Is that summary in our,
No, I have a copy for you though.
oh.
I mean, it was just kind of we just needed to get that number together to know, I mean, we know kind of where we were the last couple of years, didn't have a whole lot of money left after budgeting and everything, and then we've got a total of this much request. The insurance figures, I don't know whether I mentioned that or not, but that's going to be about an 18% increase to the tune of about $125,000, something like that, $125,000. Those are the things that insurance, we know that's going to happen. We need to stay insured and everything. And as in previous years, it's kind of the same deal. I don't really mean to get that much into this, but you've got to go way up in your deductible on the insurance thing to save $15 on your premium. So we're just kind of moving ahead with the same coverage that everybody has this year and figuring that in. So anyway, but we'll have more details and more fun and games next Thursday night.
On a good note, Vicki Hastings informed me today that our dental and our vision will probably go down just a little bit, those are traveling.
That's a question. What was the budget proposed for 2015 this year?
The total amount?
Yeah. What did we figure?
Well, we had 118.
The next question is going to be, what are we looking like? Are we going to go over, stay under, if we don't have any drastic ice storm or whatever?
Let me explain it to you this way. We had 118,000 of the 90%, the 90-10. We can only budget 90% of our anticipated revenues required by Constitution and law to retain 10%. Of the 90%, I think there's like 118,000. I don't know, some of the folks that's on the committee may remember, but it was a little over $100,000 last year. The
ballpark figure, I'm not asking.
The revenues have been flat, means not increasing, not decreasing, and $125,000 for insurance. So you can kind of look at it basically as the difference between 118 and 125. But now we did a transfer a while back that will help us a little bit.
Okay, so we had to add a little bit to the budget to make it. Is that what you're saying?
Well, there's a lot of factors. No, well, what happened, partly the circuit clerk out of her recorder's cost fund pays for 2 of her employees. That, since she's paying for it, the general fund doesn't have to, so that helps. A scenario like that helps a little bit. It's all tax money. It's all tax money that people have paid. So, if it originates with me, it was mine. So, kind of, that answer your question, sort of? I don't know exactly what the figure is. There is a $7 million about general fund budget, and then there's about a $12+ million total budget that includes the general fund and the dedicated funds. But of course, the dedicated funds we don't have as much leeway with.
And we're going to stay under the top figure.
We are required by Constitution and by law to not budget any more than 90% of our anticipated revenues. So we will not.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, is that all on announcements? I guess we'll move on to new business. We have an appropriation ordinance, transfer funds with the county sheriff's budget and to appropriate funds from county general to the old federal building budget. This is submitted by David Thompson.
I would move to read this ordinance.
All those in favor say aye.
Second.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay, David.
Did you want to read it, Crystal?
Oh, go ahead.
Be enacted. I was looking out for you. Be enacted by the Quorum Court of the County of Boone, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance amending the annual budget for Boone County for the fiscal year 2015 and authorizing the county judge to administer such budget and for other purposes. Now therefore be ordained by the Quorum Court of Boone County, Arkansas. Section 1. The following appropriation is made from the county sheriff's budget 1000-0400 from 1000-0400-1013 County Sheriff Personnel Services to account number 1000-0400-3060 County Sheriff Electricity. Now, I'll read those figures after. I'm sorry, I missed that first one. We'll back up. Sorry. The car allowance, $11,400. And then that's going to the account 3060, $8,000 for electricity, and to account 3062 for water for $3,400. The sum $11,400 is the amount to be transferred to finish the year in electricity and water with no new money appropriated. Section 2. The following appropriation is made from the county general, $1,000. From $1,000 county general, $140,000, $140,001 to 1000-0111-4002 Old Federal Building Capital Outlay Buildings, $140,001. This sum, $140,001 is the amount received and deposited into County General from the sale of the property located at 309 Highway 62 West, Yeovil, Arkansas, 72687 to Jones Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine, PLC, and will be used to remodel the new county building at 414 West Central, Harrison, Arkansas, 72601. Any provision, Section 3, if any provision or section of ordinance is held invalid in the court of competent jurisdiction, such invalidity shall not affect other provisions and sections of the ordinance, and to such end the provisions and sections of this ordinance are declared to be severable. Section 4, the ordinance herein enacted as appropriations ordinance and therein effective immediately. Move for adoption.
Second.
Okay, is there any questions?
Yeah, should this be going into that line item for the old federal building? I understand it's $140,000 from the property we sold in Yellow. And are we going to use it to remodel the building that we are in the process of buying or have bought?
We've already bought it, yeah. We're just using it to remodel this building.
But if it goes in the old federal building line item, does that mean that it goes? I'm confused.
You want to explain that, Patricia?
Yes. You want to go up there from here? Can I do it here?
You're fine out there for me.
Good, thank you. I don't want to get up. Okay. When we purchased the new building, we put the money in Old Federal because that's the heading of Old Federal is county buildings.
Okay.
And we put it in there, and then we used it out of that line item. Now that line item for Old Federal county buildings is $0, and we're having to pay electric and water over there already. So we've just now Tommy created a new budget for the new building. So after we finish this year of the utilities and what bills we have this year, what's left over in that line item from Old Federal will go into the new budget for the new building, and we'll continue from there.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Any discussion from the audience? Okay. Kristen, you want to do roll call?
Brian Snavely,
Yes.
Kathy Valentine,
Yes.
Sam Kinsley,
Yes.
Robert Meek,
Yes.
Jim Park,
Yes.
Ralph Quinn,
Yes.
James Wagner,
Yes.
David Thompson,
Yes.
Kara Staton,
Yes.
Frank Hampson,
Yes.
Dan Roberts.
Yes.
Hey, Judge,
Yes.
just a very quick question. Are we still on schedule to move into that building?
We're working hard on it, Dan. He's been over there at 5:30 in the morning. Right now they've got the new bathrooms in. We got the old roof tore out. So we're working on, right now we're doing a lot of bidding, contractors and stuff, trying to get the best price and make sure we do it the fair way.
And the target date to actually be in that building is?
We're hoping to have at least the voting part of it, the election part of it in there by Dan, December maybe?
The
End of
new
December.
machines come this month.
That was what I was wondering about.
That's our priority right now.
Okay.
But of course, David and him's all been there and put their input, on what they want, their Christmas list.
Oh.
That's why I moved Mr. Meeks up to finance and stuff.
Thank you, Judge.
Yeah.
Mr. Etheridge, is there any way you can ease some of your crowded area and move some stuff over there, or is it supposed to be secure some way?
We're going to do that right now. She's using some of my space in the back, and that's totally fine. I'm glad for that to happen. And once she's moved us to that, I will start moving some things in. And we have we've obtained some furniture from the place we're going to move back there pretty shortly also. But anyway, yes, I'm going to do that, but I want her to be taken care of first because it's important for her to get.
I know it's tight where you're at.
And I appreciate that very much. I was there a while ago, and I almost caught on fire next to one of the heaters, so I'm always glad.
That I'm sorry to bring something else up, but that just reminded me. The security of that building, is it going to already be sufficient for our needs, or are we going to have to upgrade that?
We're probably going to do some video cameras and stuff in there. The way we've got it set up, they're going to have public bathrooms in there. And I would like to have some video cameras in there for anyone that walks in the door that the prosecuting attorney can tell who's coming in and who's leaving. And that'll save us, maybe some property damage down the road or something. But I think that's going to be a minimal expense.
Thank you.
Okay. Ready to move on? Okay, next appropriation ordinance is appropriation ordinance to approve and levy county, municipal, and school real estate taxes and personal property taxes for the year 2015 payable and 2016. This is submitted by Dan Roberts.
I have discussed this with the clerk's office. He advises me there are no changes in this year's budget, and therefore I ask the clerk to read this by title only.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
An ordinance approving levying county, municipal, and school real estate taxes and personal property taxes for the year 2015 payable in 2016.
I move to adopt.
Second.
Okay, we got a first and second. Is there any discussion?
Has it already been a year since we did this last?
Who seconded
I
that?
did.
Brian.
Sorry.
I was asking for a friend.
Okay. No discussion? Any discussion from the audience? Okay, Christian, you want to do roll call?
Kathy Valentine.
Yes.
Sam Tinsley.
Yes.
Robert Meade.
Yes.
Jim Hart.
Yes.
Ralph Gwynn.
Yes.
James Whitener.
Yes.
David Thompson.
Yes.
Kara Staton.
Yes.
Frank Hampson.
Yes.
Dan Roberts.
Yes.
Brian Stanley.
Yes.
Okay, the next appropriation ordinance to transfer funds within current Judge Webb's budget, submitted by Justice Brian Snager.
Make a motion to read this in entirety.
All those in favor?
Second.
All those opposed?
Aye. I'll do that again.
All right, be enacted by the Quorum Court of the County of Boone, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance amending the annual budget for Boone County for the fiscal year 2015, and authorizing the county judge to administer such budget and for other purposes. Now therefore, be it ordained by the Quorum Court of Boone County, Arkansas, the following appropriation is made from Circuit Judge Webb's budget, 1,0403, from 1,0403 to 3,100 Circuit Judge Webb other services and charges, $337.48 to 1,0403 1001 Circuit Judge Webb personal services full-time salaries, $275.97 to 1,0403 1006 Circuit Judge Webb personal services Social Security matching, $21.11 to 1,043 1007 Circuit Judge Webb personal services retirement matching, $40 to 1,043 1010 Circuit Judge Webb personal services workman's comp, 40 cents. The sum $37.48 is the amount to be transferred to pay the extra amount to the circuit clerks working on a large contact project and criminal dockets for Division 4. Judge Webb with no new money appropriate. If any provision of this section of this ordinance is held invalid by a court of competent jurisdiction, such invalidity shall not affect other provisions and sections of this ordinance. and to such end the provisions and sections of this ordinance are declared to be acceptable. And I move to adopt.
Second.
Any questions, discussion? Discussion from the audience? I'll do roll call, Crystal.
Sam Tinsley,
Yep.
Robert Meek,
Yep.
Jim Hart,
Yes.
Ralph Quinn,
Yes.
James Widener,
Yes.
David Thompson,
Yes.
Tara Staten,
Yes.
Frank Hampson,
Yes.
Dan Roberts,
Yes.
Brian Staley,
Yes.
Kathy Valentine.
Yes.
Passes. Next on the agenda, we have a county ordinance number 2015-15, order to abandon and close County Road Bob's Lane. Crystal, would you read this?
In the Court of Boone County, notice of abandoned county road, whereas the county road Christian is a dead end and used primarily as a private drive, and whereas the road named Bob's Lane is a residential area, and whereas the property owner and residents of Bob Lane have signed a petition, and whereas the property owners and residents would benefit from closing Bob's Lane to public use. Therefore, the County of Boone County hereby closes Bob's Lane.
Okay. Any discussion?
I have one question.
Yes.
Residents on the road, and what's the percentage of the people that want it closed? Is it
There's really no residence. There's one house at the end of it. There's some other landowners, and they're all in agreement to close it too. They all deal with the same thing. People going through their fences and cutting their fences and leaving trash down, creeping stuff. This benefits the county too. We no longer have to maintain it, and it's a rough area to maintain. So it helps us too. Any other questions?
Move to approve.
Second.
You say Voiceville Lane, or what do you think today?
Voice vote. All those in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. Next on the agenda, it's a addendum to the agenda by Mr. Dan Roberts, and it's to do with the budget. Dan, while we're handing these out, may I speak? We forgot to mention that Kara is not running again, and no less important than Sam. We sure are going to miss her, and miss Sam too. They've both been an asset to the county, and hopefully maybe someday they'll come back and do it again.
Thank you, Judge.
You bet. You know, get one, Brian.
Anybody else?
As you can guess, there's quite a bit of work involved in this. What this is not something that is being asked to be approved at this meeting. What it is it's an outline of a budget for 2016, and it does show the differences in the comparison between 2015 and 2016. Each of all of the figures included have come from the budget request, and we have included the 18% insurance in these. We have also included a 3% COLA for all employees. Now then, you can look, and I have a comparison here between this year's budget and the 2016 that shows you the difference. What it amounts to is in 2016, the budget with the general fund budget would come in at $559 and like $559,221 less than 2015. The reason for that is very, very simple. as I handed out the last meeting, the requirements for utilizing dedicated funds. Those dedicated funds shall be used only for the item for which they were voted on, and that is law enforcement or the new jail. So that jail budget has been removed from the general fund. I've talked to Tommy today, and he has applied another number to the jail fund. The jail fund would be 3018-0418. It's the last item on the second page. I showed a comparison there, the difference between the budget this year for the jail and the new budget, which is very, very minimal. I found several things in this year's budget which caused me quite a bit of concern. Number one, we left out insurance on property, on a lot of it. And that has been added and included in, it was a misunderstanding about how it was to be utilized, and it was not, we just didn't do it properly. So it has been corrected in this year's, or next year's budget. If you look at these, and you look at them very quickly, you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer anything. I finished it, by the way, at 5 o'clock this morning. So if you have any questions, if I can't answer them, I'll bet you I can find somebody who can. And I've gone through it. I might tell you some differences. By transferring the jail to separate in the dedicated fund budget, we are going to leave a balance in the general fund of some $662,382. Now that would include, in my mind, the $550,000 that we transferred out to the general fund from the jail fund this past year. We have a general fund balance which is $221,000. That is a savings to the general fund. We also reduced the grants by $1,000. And we have one little problem that I have been working with the judge on in his budget request, because mainly of the things that were not included in this year's budget, he has a shortage of some $28,038. I have a complete list of how all of the dedicated funds were affected by the amount of money available to budget this next year. It too is minimal. Some jail maintenance fund, however, there was an addition there of some $38,000. A big thing this year that shows the reason for our better, the way we stand now as compared to where we were this year, there was no FEMA money available this year, and that is some $500,000. We had $474,077 short in FEMA. In other words, the money's been used, it's been spent. We have only $26,233.66 is all we have in FEMA funds for this next year. The jail, we added a little bit, very, very little. The increase was $104,060. That leaves us a balance in the jail fund of some $2,709,801. So we're still in very, very good shape so far as the jail dedicated fund is concerned. If you have had a chance now to look at that, I would appreciate any questions or any input that anybody might have, and I'll try to answer to the best of my ability.
So this is one version of the budget, not the version that will come out of the committee, the budget and finance?
I am on the committee.
Is this the committee's version of the budget?
No.
Okay.
If there is another one, I don't know it.
Justice Thompson, will we be getting a different version than this at a later date?
Yeah. Yeah, well, yes.
It's about time we started to work on it. You know, we've got to pass this very shortly.
And I appreciate the effort that you put into it, Justice Roberts, I do. You put a lot of work into it, it's very obvious.
Yes, I have. And I don't mind that. I mean, that's why I'm on the Quorum Court. Do the best I can for the city of Boone County, and I would appreciate any information, any requests, any questions, direct them to me. I'd be happy to do my best to answer.
Any more
You always
questions
do,
for
thank
deputies?
you.
I'm sorry.
I've got a question, I don't know if it's for Dan or not, but y'all remember what was first this year? We took, was it 500 or 550,000?
550.
550. That is still in the general fund, that has not been allocated anywhere, is that correct? Because we were taking part of that, to purchase the building. And then the remainder of that, we were going to, the discussion was to put it into some sort of reserve fund. Do we know how much of that 550 is left to put into reserve?
Can't answer you that right off the top of my head, but I can figure it pretty quick.
Building about all that's been taken out.
Yeah,
The lion's
there
share.
was- yeah, pretty much.
You had about
The building,
$375,000.
the building price cost would be the lion's share of where that's been reduced.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that's somewhere around 200,000 or a little less or whatever.
Yeah, I don't remember all the exact
Okay.
figures, but I could figure it pretty quick.
Okay, Tommy, we're looking at putting this money, this so-called reserve that we're talking about, into a line item that maybe we don't have yet. I don't want to lose this money. When you leave the general fund, somebody, as time goes on, we're going to forget.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't put it in a line item, you would put it in a totally separate fund by itself. You would make a reserve fund
Yes.
and put it in there.
Question, would there be a reserve fund that we could put it into that it could never be taken out of? And
No.
a different vote from a different forum court the next night can change any reserve fund you set up in the general fund.
Yes.
If it's not dedicated money, we have
I
latitude.
understand that, but I just want to press the fact to the 11 of us here that we better use this money like we intended to do when we removed it from the jail down there, or the law enforcement,
As a reserve.
as a reserve to buy the building and use it for the reserve. Because I know as time goes on, sometimes you're going to wind up spending it because, oh, looky here, here's some money, and you forgot about what you've done with it, or why you took it.
This gets into the discussion of general fund money versus dedicated
Yes.
fund money. Now, if it's in the general fund, it's 100% discretionary. If it's in the dedicated fund, it's only for the specified purposes. The jail sales tax is dedicated money. It has been used 100% for those dedicated purposes.
I understand.
Now, you can't put any more ties on the general fund other than what we decided to do tonight. We would like to in some cases, but we cannot, because very next meeting, we can change our mind and change it all up. You can't write anything in concrete in the general fund.
But
Well-
you could, excuse me, Justice Meeks, but you could budget the money into a line item as a reserve item, correct?
It's a line item, if you will, sort of in the carryover line.
So if we wanted to budget $500,000 into a reserve account, we could budget it in there. Now, if somewhere down the road,
Jail fund, you can't.
no, I'm not speaking
We're
of,
talking about general
we're
fund.
talking about the
You
general fund.
transferred $2.3 million out of the jail fund into the general fund. Now, you tell me.
We're not talking about that, Justice.
I am.
Well, I'm not, and I have the floor.
Excuse me.
Thank you. I apologize. If we as a quorum court wanted to budget $500,000 into a reserve account, we could do that. If down the road there was an emergency that we had to spend it, we could transfer it out of that account into what we needed to spend it, correct? Thank you.
And as long as that's the mood of the quorum court, we can put it there and it will stay there as long as that's what we, as the 11 here, decide to do with it.
And I
So
understand, but
it-
I agree with
Yeah.
Justice Meek that if it's there and it's sitting out there It's easy to
Is it going to
spend.
be more or less available in the carryover or in a line item where it's?
And it may be nitpicking, but I would like to see a line item that says reserve savings, whatever you want to call it. It
Well,
gives
it
me the
still
warm
would have the
fuzzies.
same effect on carryover. It would be part of the carryover either way. So,
Well, I guess my whole point is, let's don't forget about what we have done. Well, I'm looking at you, but I'm not blaming you.
I don't think anybody's going to let me forget what we've done.
I agree with Justin. I mean, I think it'd be more recognizable.
Yeah, I'd feel a little
And,
more protected.
you know,
That's what I'm saying. It gives me the warm fuzzies to see a line item that says this is my nest egg.
Nothing better.
Makes everybody feel good while we do it. But yeah, I understand. I understand exactly what you want to do, and I want to do the same thing. I'm not saying I don't want to, but
No,
it's,
I'm not accusing you, David.
no. But it's just
Yeah, why not?
the nature of general fund money can.
I know, but sometimes people forget their past. And you can never forget your past, because if you do, you're going to make the same mistake.
You know, repeat it.
in the future. So,
Oh, and I also know if I have a savings account, I will try to deplete all other options to find the money to purchase something with before I tap into my savings account. It's a mental thing, but it works.
Did
I'm not clear on what just got said. My name's Teresa Matthews. Are we saying that we've taken $2 million of dedicated jail money and spent it on something else?
no,
Well, please clarify.
it's a matter of what.
clear?
The best I understand, Teresa, is the money that they've been taking. I say they, us, Quorum Court, under the last.
Taken is not a good word.
Okay, that all right.
Transferred is a much better word. Try to stay in the middle with your
Okay,
explanation,
gotcha.
please.
The money that was transferred came from the general fund, the way I understood it, that was going to law enforcement in general, okay? I don't know if it was a jail or just wherever, but law enforcement. So that general fund, you can take that kind of money and move it. You can take anybody's general fund money to do with it. When you remove money that's being spent in the general fund for operations, in this case, the sheriff, to replace the void, would have to go to the quarter-cent jail tax, which is dedicated money. That money is to be moved dollar for dollar to replace the void that was taken from the general fund.
Okay, you've lost me.
It wasn't $2 million. It was $550,000 that we transferred into the general fund.
Well, maybe-
From the dedicated money?
No.
Hey, well, let's go ahead and finish discussion between the JPs first,
I'm
and then
done.
we'll go to the audience.
I'm done.
Any more discussion between the
Man, I
JPs?
had some.
I have a question, or an answer for Robert. You asked what that amount of money was. $375,000. That's what's left of the $550.
Okay.
Anybody else? Okay. Now the audience. I apologize for that.
That's okay.
You can never touch dedicated money
Right.
to use for any other purpose
Right.
except
I
what
got that
it's dedicated to. But you can go in after the general fund money that's been going for that purpose. Okay?
Hey, Robert, the example of the circuit clerk paying for two of her employees might be a good example to use on that.
Well, you can explain that, Teresa.
Hi.
We used to pay all the employees in the circuit clerk's office. She has an automation fund, which is a dedicated fund. Okay, she agreed 2 years ago, I think, to pay for which her fund can be used for her office. Employees are in her office, so she can use some of her.
Dedicated funds.
Soon as the meeting's
Automation.
over, Teresa, come right down and I'll explain it to you.
Anyway, $75,000 that she's using out of her dedicated fund doesn't have to be spent out of the general fund now.
Okay.
So it's in the general fund because it wasn't spent over here.
Okay. But if it's dedicated to automation, why is it paying salaries?
Because it's authorized for that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, she's the one that authorizes it for that too.
Okay.
Any more questions?
No, that answered my question last statement.
Well, is the jail, does it have enough dedicated money to run on?
Yes.
Okay, we're not gonna hear more, let's have another sales tax for the jail?
Yes, you will.
Oh, because it's,
Well, once the quarter cent ends, that's all the money that's coming in that's new for that purpose. Now,
So
once
that
that happens, Tommy, it generates about 1.2 million a year.
Approximately.
So when that ends in December of 2016, there is no more money coming in for that purpose. Now, but you still run the jail.
right.
Now, where are you going to get the money?
Will perhaps an 8 cent instead of a quarter cent be
That probably
added?
work. My whole kick on this, when we voted for this, because I wasn't part of the Quorum Court at the time, in the ordinance, or whatever you want to call it, that put this on the ballot, it was jail operations to build and maintain that jail and to run that jail.
Well, it's already built,
But
right?
they put a sunset clause on it. So once you build, I understand about sunset clause, when you build something and it's paid for,
Right.
do away with it. But for operations from now till kingdom come, why would you put a sunset clause on that? At the time, I'm told, they didn't think this county citizens would pass it. That was just a plus for them for 10 years down the road. We're coming to that 10-year limit.
Right. I did
So that
understand
quarter cent or some sort of new tax is going to have to be discussed, because if it ends, all that money stops coming
Right.
in. Now the problem at that point is, what is the county going to do at that point as to maintain
Well,
that jail?
certainly now that it's built, they don't need a quarter percent.
Well, that may be. That may
Like,
be.
right there, there's a fact that you gotta know. It's costing, 1.2 is what the tax is generating, and it costs $1 million to run the jail right now.
See, we went
That's just
from
the
here,
jail.
we went
That's
from
just
this,
the
a 33 bed, down there with a new jail of 304.
Well,
And of course, you added employees, and now you've added roughly another 80 beds or 70 something beds down there. So, in a bigger building.
well, I can understand that maintenance is going to be expensive, but
Well, it's not just maintenance, Teresa.
It's
It is-
operations.
It's the whole
operations
operation.
and maintenance.
That's all electric, well, it's salaries.
But how much did it cost to build the darn thing? I mean, surely
$7
that,
million.
okay, so there's $7 million you're gonna have to spend again, right? Why
We need
can't
another
you
pot already.
lower the percentage of the tax? If you're gonna have to vote in a new tax, why not make it less of a tax?
Well, that could be an option, but that's something that's going to have to be discussed in the very near future.
Thank you.
Robert, if I may reiterate, and I may be wrong, but this is not a new tax, it's an extension of an old tax.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Because
but
when-
I'm saying, it's gonna sunset.
Right.
That means some tax must be paid.
Right.
And I'm just saying, well, they got it built, maybe they don't need a quarter percent anymore.
That might be something we can look at down the road.
Go ahead, Dave.
No, you got the floor, sorry. No, you got it.
Go ahead, Kara. Go ahead.
I just said perhaps that was an option that could be looked at down the road. I mean, that's not a topic of discussion really tonight.
I agree.
If that quarter cent does not pass, we will have to reduce every budget by 15%. That's an impossibility.
That's across the board.
That's across the board.
By law, Teresa, Arkansas requires law enforcement to be for the citizens of the county. They don't require any other thing. Now, we all know that assessments, property assessments got to be, is on a daily basis, whatever. Those offices got to stay open, yes. But anything excess that we have or we find will have to be.
Well, here's the way it's kind of come together in my mind. The jail tax generates about $1 million. It costs $1 million to run the jail, so that becomes the price tag for keeping folks off the street that we voted 9 years ago to try and keep off the street. So that's how it shakes out.
It's my understanding that some people get to stay there for free instead of getting paid for keeping them, that aren't county prisoners, is that correct?
They all stay for free. It costs us.
What I mean.
Now the
is-
state prisoners, we get $30 a day for them.
Right, how about the Harrison City prisoners?
That's part of the quarter cent jail tax 8-something years
Yes,
ago.
but it's gonna sunset.
But when
can
that,
change
but
it.
you can't do anything until it sunsets.
Right. and
But the
that's-
thing, but let me throw this at you, that someone in the city of Harrison is a Boone County resident, okay? They pay the tax, the quarter-cent, if you will, when they go down to Hudson's or where Walmart's or whatever. That quarter-cent is paid at that time through their purchases. So whether they're a city prisoner or whether they're an Alpena or whether they're Bergman, whether they're Everton, doesn't matter. They're all Boone County citizens. That's how I look at it.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion, yeah. Thank you. We have a motion to adjourn. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed?
This program is brought to you as a public service of KTKO Channel 8.